My name's Jackie O'Reilly. I'm from the University of Brighton Business School and I work on areas related to labour market research. I've got a new project I'm just about to start that looks on issues around the gender pay gap. Now, we may ask ourselves, why is this still an interesting question after the raft of legislative measures we've had since the 1970s? But there are two key issues that have emerged in the research and in trends in labour markets. One has been the increasing polarisation of inequality in wages, largely seen in men's wages, where the top 10%, the gap between them and the bottom 10% has actually increased in the past 30 years. And what this actually means then for women is that gap has also increased. Now, the gap has increased at the top amongst highly professional, highly skilled women, between men and women in those professional occupations. But also we've seen a number of increasing pay disputes or employment tribunal issues around equal pay at the lower levels of the occupational hierarchy. Now, what I'm interested in looking at in the UK case and comparing it to what's happening in Europe is to try and understand why there's been an increase in cases being taken to employment tribunals around this. And there are two key issues that come out of it. One is about public sector reform of wage scales in trying to bring together a single spine of pay categories and grades. This is to integrate previously a multiple of different pay schemes into one single one. And this is bringing together male manual workers alongside female manual workers. And here, a lot of organisations haven't actually done it very effectively. That's been happening on one hand. At the same time in the UK, you've had a deregulation of legal services and provisions, so that what we call the ambulance chasers or legal firms, or called no-win, no-fee solicitors, are going and individually trying to locate particular cases and saying, we'll take this case to court. Now, normally these have been about personal accident insurance issues, but increasingly they've been taking up the issue of equal pay for women in the UK. So interestingly, you've had a kind of decoupling of the forms of regulation of pay in attempts on one hand to modernise the public sector pay schemes and an attempt to deregulate the legal services provision. And the unintended consequence of this has been a kind of a flowering or multiple cases coming to tribunals. And this is a very individualistic type of solution you find in the British system that's unlike that you find in places like Germany or France, where this deregulation hasn't happened. And this will be an issue for future research, trying to understand what consequences this has on collective settlements and on individual settlements for both the trade unions and for employers in these sectors.